This is possibly one of my favorite elements of agile, of agility. It's this idea that as fast as possible, as soon as possible, we create a working version of the thing that we're building towards, so that we can inspect and adapt, so that we can check as early as possible that we're on track, so that we can put something in front of a user, in front of a customer, in front of stakeholders, in front of colleagues, so that they can actually see it and help us to develop it a lot faster. So much better than trying to work on something in a vacuum for an extended period of time, making sure it's all polished and quote unquote perfect, only to find that actually we've gone off in the wrong direction. So there's just a few hints and tips then around this idea of the increment, very much part of the Scrum framework, but really part of anything that we do, this idea that we're going to get something out fast. So where does this come from? There's the Agile Manifesto value number 2 talks about the idea that working software over comprehensive documentation is the value. Obviously, when we're not working with software, we replace the word software with solution or product or whatever need is appropriate there for the thing that we're working on. And Agile Manifesto principle number 7, working software or a working solution is the primary measure of progress. And again, rather than lots of reports and a lot of time spent on reporting nice polished charts and PowerPoint presentations, have a look at the thing that we've actually created. And that's something that we can discuss without any assumptions or inferences. It's there. We can talk about that thing. So sometimes it can be quite a small thing. Sometimes it can be quite large. But again, this idea of breaking things down into component parts of something that is deliverable and is working towards that ultimate solution. A lot of people will say, well, we can't actually do that because we need to build the whole thing complete before we can look at it. And I hear that a lot. I would just point out, and there'll be a link to one of these in one of the pathways. Saab, when they build their fighter jets, they do that using Scrum. They build both the hardware and the software using the Scrum framework, so doing things in an incremental way. Just one way that we can think about that. What we're trying to do, of course, is to make sure that we're on track, number one. Number two, make sure that what we're doing is adding value right now to the user. These two famous pictures give us an idea of what that means, and it helps us to have those conversations with folks. So when we're building something, we'll talk about, well, is this the raft or is this the boat? Is this, or is it, what is it in between? What are we talking about? And again, this idea that put something on the water, in the case of the raft, put something on the water that people can use right away, then we can move on to the next level. All of that within the overall plan, within the overarching plan that we're doing. We spent time on these pictures in a previous video, so I won't dwell on them too much. But here are the basic principles. Have something to show, no matter how small. That we hear a lot when people are building, when they're building software, they're building websites, for example. The first thing that you want is that landing page. So just have a landing page with no functionality. That is something that you can show. Are we on the right track? Does this make sense? Is this what we're doing? It could be that small that we want, but something that we can sit and talk about and discuss. The increment should be of some value to the users. And again, a front page, a landing page has value in that it starts to announce to the world that we're coming, that we have something now, or will have something to offer. The increment should be functional, including all the testing. So we make sure that within the sprint we can get everything done that we need to get done. And importantly, it shouldn't be too polished. If we spend the last few hours of our sprint polishing it nicely to try and make sure that we satisfy or impress a user or a stakeholder through the polishing bits, then maybe we have actually invested time in not adding much value to that. We don't need all the shiny stuff. That can come later if we still have time and budget to do that. So just a few ideas there, but really an exciting thing to do, to be able to put something in front of somebody and get going with that. Is something that it motivates the team, it motivates the users, it motivates the stakeholders as well to see that progress is being made and we actually have something tangible to work on, not just an idea or a theory.